Let's rank the Espadas, including all Espadas from the novels. I've made a few shorts in which I cover the Espadas ranking, but it's time I made a full video. And again, if my last long video, Aizen vs Zero Squad, gets lots of views, you'll get another long video, the Bleach Cosmology. I have to gauge your attention span before I make an even longer video. Most of the arguments in this video will be aimed at the Espadas, which fans consider more complicated when it comes to ranking. The main objective is to determine who ranks where and why. And the Espadas who became stronger in the novels will have two places: their original rank from the Arrancar arc and then their ranks from the novels. There are two main words which denote the ranking of the Espadas: Sento Ryoku, which means combat strength, or how strong one happens to be in a fight, and Jitsu Ryoku, which means true strength or efficiency. Or simply put, a stronger Espada will beat a weaker Espada in a fight, in a direct clash of their own abilities. The strongest of Aizen's Arrancars, who are ranked according to their true strength, have additional features accredited to their true power, including Rei-Ryoku, as the lower the Espada number, the stronger their spiritual power, and lethality, as the lower the number, the more lethal the Espadas become. The lower the number, the more powerful they are in a fight, and none of these ranking criteria contradict each other. If Aizen considered lethality, spirit energy, and Reiatsu their true authentic strength as well as how strong they are in an actual fight, and the efficiency of their combat prowess, then an Espada with a bigger number will lose to an Espada with a smaller number. It's as simple as that. Last place at number 16 goes to Yami Iargo. Despite having the greatest physical strength among the Espada, Arrancars typically amp their strikes with Reiatsu, which would make Yami's physical strength in 10th form irrelevant, as his position at number 10 indicates the lowest Reiatsu as well, and officially his 10th form has been described as the weakest among the Espadas. Number 15 is Aroniero Arurieri, whose ranking indicates a greater lethality and power level than Yami in 10th form, with his Resurrection, which summons the strength of over 30,000 hollows, coupled with the strength and intellect of Kaien Shiba, showcasing his true strength as an Espada. Aroniero also possesses the greatest potential as an Espada, as he can evolve infinitely. Number 14 is everyone's favorite mad scientist, Zalaporo Grants. His placement indicates higher spiritual power than Aroniero, and with techniques like regeneration, Gabriel, commandeering one's nervous system, Teatro de Titere, which destroys internal organs, and the ability to make exact copies of his opponents, you can see why he ranks above Aroniero. Number 13 is Zomari Luru, who can evade Zalapro's abilities, which largely depend on contact, given the intense speed of his Sonido, with greater resistance through his spiritual pressure, which is greater than Zalapro's, and the capability to control 58 objects or people simultaneously with this Amor ability. Regarding the broken abilities of the ranks 15, 14, and 13, it's worth remembering that it's not uncommon for raw power to negate certain abilities when you go to higher ranks, especially when you consider that the Espadas are hollows who have undergone soul repurification. And even if a lower Espada did indeed have the fastest Sonido, variables like combat speed are usually indicative of raw power, or one's true combat strength will include the ability to react to their opponent. That said, number 12 goes to Grimjow and Lupi, who both held the rank of number 6. That is before Lupi was caught off guard by Grimjow, and this was also confirmed by Khan Fury Ownworld, although I'm fine with calling Grimjow a stronger number 6 than Lupi anyway. Number 11 goes to Neliel to Oderschwank, the former Espada number 3. Despite fighting on par with Noitora, Neliel could not maintain her form in this arc for long, and her Cerro Doble, which doubles all of its traits, was not strong enough to destroy Noitora, and there were instances in which they were both beating each other back, despite the fact that they were both holding back, and in the end, Noitora still didn't use his Resurrection. This was Neliel who regained her past strength, with the consideration that base to base, Noitora still managed to turn the fight around. Ranking at number 10 directly above Neliel, Noitora's past injuries will heal upon entering Resurrection. Furthermore, he can spawn and regenerate up to 6 new limbs, with each possessing its own blade. These are accompanied by the strongest hero in the Arrancar arc, coupled with immense physical strength. Number 9 goes to Ulquiorra Schiffer. He can regenerate his body parts except for his brain and internal organs. He's the only Espada to possess a Segunda Etapa. He has never shown this form to Lord Aizen, however, whether or not Aizen actually knows about it is never confirmed. Although if Aizen really digged into Ulquiorra's life, he would likely know about it, given his affinity for disclosing information. On the other hand, Ulquiorra knows about his own Segunda Etapa, and still ranked himself as number 4 in terms of strength. At this point, Yami was still in number 10 form, so there were in fact 3 Espadas stronger than him. And when Ulquiorra made this statement, it was confirmed that this was in fact true. It was a fact. Despite being ranked at number 4 among the Espadas, Ulquiorra possesses enough speed to fight against Vastalore Ichigo in the Hellverse battle which Kubo prefers over the manga and anime. However, this short battle also makes it very clear that Ichigo is significantly stronger than Ulquiorra in the context of raw power. Therefore, the 4th Espada would not scale to Vastalore Ichigo. Furthermore, the only direct scaling reference that Vastalore Ichigo has is in the novels, specifically his power level and resistance, which are both traits which drastically outscale Ulquiorra. The ranks of number 8 to 5 would go to the Can't-Fear-Your-Own World Espadas, Haribel, Grimmjow, Lupi, and Neliel. They show overall relativity in the damage they take from Ikomikidomoe, and can still fight the hollow monster which is so fast that it blitzes their perception, and even inflict damage upon him. Lupi fights on par with Grimmjow, despite the fact that Grimmjow was drugged for a portion of the fight, and although they are both relative, I would still say Grimmjow is more tenacious than Lupi. Neliel believes that she could stop Grimmjow if she used all of her strength, and Haribel is also confident in Neliel's power to stop Grimmjow if he goes on a rampage. Furthermore, Neliel can consume, amplify, and return the Seros of beings who are far stronger than her, as she consumed half of Ikone's Sero in their second encounter, could return Seros from Cien Grants, since Roca Paramia could do the same with an incomplete version of Sero Doble, and her child form could return a Sero from Dordoni, who was significantly stronger than her in that form. Tyr and Nell were ranked at the same level of strength by Charlotte Coolhorn, who fought alongside them, who said they were both stronger than him by the same amount, and Haribel literally put Lupi in his place by just looking in his direction, the same Lupi who clash equally with Grimmjow. And in this context, the main difference between their personalities is that Grimmjow would still fight you even if he knows that you are stronger than him. Alongside the feats mentioned, their perspective on each other is important, as the 3 of them essentially ruled Hueco together, and fought alongside each other when they suppressed the rebel Arrancars and Vastalores who tried to take over Hueco. Furthermore, they faced Hikone for the first time together. The position of number 4 goes to Baragan Ruizenband, with Ikomikidomoe describing Baragan's Vastalore state before he became an Espada as stronger than Grimmjow's Can't-Fear-Your-Own World Arrancar state. Furthermore, the version of Ikomikidomoe which faced the Arrancars and Quincies was being compared to Baragan as former king of Hueco with regards to spiritual pressure, and Grimmjow pretty much conceded to Baragan's superior power. Furthermore, let's not forget that Aizen gave Baragan additional power when he joined the Espada. Furthermore, that tremendous power gap is accompanied by abilities like Respira and Time Dilation. Rank number 3, Coyote Stark. The former number 1 Espada was well deserving of his rank beyond Baragan, Ulquiorra, and Haribel, and it has been officially stated that he demonstrated power worthy of number 1 against Shunsui Kyoraku, an opponent whom he pushed to use his full stats, who felt so pressured by Stark's Metralleta that he was about to use his Bankai. Stark's tremendous power allowed him to shoot even 1,000 Seros in an instant. All that before accessing his wolves, which are even stronger than Metralleta, as he has to sacrifice pieces of his soul to create them. And in terms of ranking, even strange abilities like Respira can be crushed by raw energy. Number 2, the strongest Espada of the Hueco arc, Yami Yargo. This one bothers lots of people, but it does check out. His spiritual pressure surpasses Grimmjow, Noitora, and Ulquiorra. He is the weakest and strongest man in the Espada in 10th and 0 forms respectively, and he inflicted great injuries on Byakuya and Kenpachi, proving that he's worthy of number 0. And despite calling Ulquiorra, Noitora, and Grimmjow trash, it's possible that he still respects their strength. Despite Zaraki being upset at Yami's fighting method, the databook statement about them being greatly injured was confirmed by the manga. Additionally, upon their entrance, Captain Kuchiki didn't hurt Yami with his Kido, he simply surprised him. And from Mugen, Aizen had confirmed that Byakuya trained endlessly after Soul Society arc, so he faced Yami with a significantly stronger Bankai. Furthermore, both Unohana and Aizen explained that the Kenpachi that faced Yami would have been stronger than the Kenpachi that faced Noitora, as Zaraki calculates the opponent's power instinctively and releases enough energy to match them. As for Ichigo, who was able to cut Yami post-Ulquiorra fight, it was explained that Ichigo's growth rate during battle was like Ikone's, so the Ichigo who faced Ulquiorra would be weaker than the Ichigo that faced Yami. And of course, in terms of raw power, Vastalore Ichigo completely wipes out Ulquiorra in both the manga and the Hellverse movie. In other words, if you think that masked Ichigo in Bankai form grew so strong that he was a threat to Yami, in that hypothetical, he would also mop the floor with Ulquiorra in Segunda Etapa. And Cien, who measured the power from Ulquiorra's Segunda Etapa when he fought Ichigo, confirmed that Yami's giant body was the strongest thing among all of the Espadas. For those who think Yami is too bulky and slow, it is confirmed in Unmasked that his destructive power more than makes up for any kind of lacking movement. Therefore, mobility issues are irrelevant thanks to his destructive power, range, and effectiveness. And it was Aizen with his intellect who classified Yami as number 0, with higher combat power or true strength than Stark. If you've been keeping up with my shorts, then you should know that number 1 goes to Cien Grants. He's essentially the old version of Zalapro's being when he was once fused with Ilfort, whose base form was already stronger than Yami's Zero form. Cien's fight with Zaraki even tore holes in the fabric of spacetime, and he could unleash dozens of Granray Ceros simultaneously. The after effect of his Ceros even shook the realm of Hueco Mundo, and he possessed all of Zalapro's broken abilities except for Gabriel. As for Health Chapter Zalapro, I'll leave him out until we have more feats. A few disclaimers before I conclude the video. Phenomena like alien spiritual pressures are not uncommon in the Bleachverse once you get to the novels, where characters like Kyoraku create similar impressions. And at this point, Uryu had not sensed the spiritual pressures of the stronger Espadas like Haribel or Baragan, and variables like the power gap between them can also contribute to the spiritual pressure feeling so strange. Next, for those who are conflicted with Toshira's power growth growing towards Haribel, as a prodigy who had Bankai before joining the Gotei 13, Toshira is a wild card. And if Kuchiki Taicho could go from the Soul Society arc to fighting Yami, then what could a more gifted prodigy like Toshira do in that same time? And it's possible for Shinigami to unlock exponential levels of power through training. And finally, there should be no inconsistency with the Vizards as well, as they were gearing up and preparing for the battle against Aizen just like the Shinigami, so it wouldn't be inconsistent for them to train and become stronger as well. Thank you for making it this far, and be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and be sure to support my latest videos as I have the Bleach Cosmology video coming. Cheers!